what an amazing one. So clearly, we will have a new champion
We will have a new champion.
Cup. And what the World Cup is turning out to be.
Yeah.
Look at the match between Australia and Holland. Did you expect what you saw?
I didn't, but not from the Australian team. But in the first match, I thought Tim Cahill and Lecky absorbed themselves of any blame because they were pretty good. And I felt that the 3-1 scoreline between Chile and Australia flattered Chile a lot. Forget how well Chile plays. Australia were not that bad. So it wasn't a surprise to see them play well against Holland. What was a surprise was to see them totally ditch any defensive mindset and come out and attack Holland, which other teams like your Germany and Argentinas will be looking at now in case they have to meet Holland later on. That looks as if you come out and attack these guys, they might be a bit fragile. They might be very good coming at you, but they might be very fragile holding off. Australia came out, they did their bit, and I mean, Tim Cahill's goals was one of those goals that will inspire any team.
Oh, that was a cracker.
Left-footed volley, edge of the box for me. That's a long, 40-yard pass. I mean,
where did he get that confidence from?
Well, he's always been the main man, even at Everton when he was in England. He was the main man. For Australia, he's been the main man. I mean,
but he's never been.
He's a
false nine, isn't he?
Because he plays the false nine for Australia because they don't have somebody as dangerous as Mark Viduka or Harry Kewell any longer. All those guys have retired. But what he has done that false nine for Everton. He's done a couple of times where he just plays at the front. He's big, he's physical, he's very fast. He's Australia's top goal scorer. He's scored their first goal at the World Cup. Before this match, he has scored all their goals at this World Cup.
Wow.
So it's not really a surprise to see him do that. And that can motivate any team. They got behind their leader and they really put the hammer on Holland. But of course, talent and experience came through and Holland came through that one unscathed.
But they should hold their heads high, Australia.
Oh, they should.
It was a fantastic match.
They should.
But what do we expect from Nigeria, Bosnia?
Nigeria and Bosnia, sadly, I feel so sad about all the things I said about Nigeria before the World Cup because I hoped I would have been proved wrong. But the first match just showed typical Nigeria again. Iran were so afraid of Nigeria. They were afraid to come out. They sat back. They left only the Jaga in the middle to anchor with their slopes, with their lone striker. Easy pickings for us. Even when Yobo came on, Iran couldn't do anything. And they were sitting back and Nigeria were afraid to go forward. I mean, Stephen Keshi should not be playing that kind of clumsy 4-3-3. And this was what I was afraid of. Nobody off the bench to make a change. Nobody to get into the number 10 position. Mikel is throwing passes from inside his own half to Emenike, who on the edge of the box. And of course, there's nobody there to work with him. Against Bosnia, they are more technical. They are faster. They are more skillful. What we have to worry about is the fact that if we're going to be sitting so deep, yes, we might defend them, but they can keep us in our own half for 90 minutes. And unlike Nigeria, Bosnia is more ruthless. We've seen that they have Dzeko up front who can cause damage. And if they see you're sitting too deep and you don't want to create space for them, they bring on Ibisevic who can either draw away one central defender to give Dzeko more room to walk or can take advantage of balls Dzeko would knock down. Are we fast enough? Are we technical enough to handle that? I don't know.
But isn't the match going to be completely different? Because, I mean, the mindset of both players, both teams now, will be different about this match. They need to have a win.
The only thing that will be different is the fact that Nigeria has a bad habit of playing according to the opposition.
Not that we'll raise our game.
We always raise our game. If the opposition is good, we raise our game. If the opposition is, we deem it not so good, we don't play so well.
Like we saw with Cote d'Ivoire and now Iran.
I mean, it's when you be surprised, the same team drew Italy 2-2. And they couldn't break down Iran. So it's...
And the team that played Italy wasn't our first 11.
It wasn't. I mean, we have people like Bright DK scoring for Nigeria. But in this match, I think Keshi to his substitutions have been suspect. I mean, you take off Victor Moses to bring on Amiobi. And so when Amiobi comes on, with all respect to Amiobi, he did the right thing. He came in, took his position, caused trouble in the box, waited for supply. But you've taken off Victor Moses, so where's the supply coming from? So I don't understand Keshi's substitution. Musa is not fully fit, and Musa was not meant to play that match, and it showed. We have Uzoyi on the bench. There's no reason why.
Can Uzoyi step up? Can he feel the truth? It's a world stage now.
Yes, but he's fast, he's tricky, he's unpredictable. No matter how inexperienced he is, he'll make a fullback think twice about going forward, because with that speed, he can get into space very, very quickly.
But against the Bosnian team, I mean, they've got the height. Got the stamina, they've got the technique. How do we approach these lads?
First things first, we need to get Onazi to forget about attacking and sit tight on Pjanic. That's the engine room. That's the first thing we need to do, because their game plan is always very, very simple. Pjanic draws you in, he plays the ball out, there's space for the overlapping fullbacks and the supply. Or he drops the ball for Dzeko and somebody is roaming on the edge of the box to work with Dzeko. So their game plan is very simple. It's not very hard to figure out. What is difficult is how is their build-up before that. That's what you have to watch. So we have to get somebody, and I think Onazi might be the best man for the job because he's mobile enough to keep up with Pjanic. You put Mikel on Pjanic, we're in serious trouble. You need somebody who is very physical to steer him. I don't think the likes of Ramon Aziz have any place in that match.
Who should replace him then?
I think Osaze should come in and start from the beginning.
Which Osaze? The one that the coach says actually played...
Didn't play to instruction. Where have we heard that before? Ike Uche doesn't play to instruction. Osaze doesn't play. What is his instruction? I'd like to know this instruction because I've watched a number of...
giving away tactics for the opposition.
Well, I've watched a number of
Keshi... Can't put it on paper.
I've watched a number of Keshi training sessions, and I think that any sports journalist who is honest and has seen them himself will know that Keshi has only one tactic. It's called play with your man. I've never seen him apply any tactic. I've never seen him apply any strategy. So what instruction are people not playing to? If you're motivating them, are you saying that he wasn't motivated enough? Because that's the only tactic I know Keshi gives out. It's motivation. So whatever it is, I don't know what he's saying. I just think Osaze came on and tried to do too much. That was it. He came on trying to do too much for the team. Maybe he should start from the beginning and burn a little of that excess energy and let him try and use his experience. We need somebody in that hole behind Emenike. Now you start missing players like Brownie Deye, who was very good at dropping off Emenike at the Nations Cup and standing on the edge of the box. He wasn't scoring many goals, but he was knocking things down and flicking things on for Emenike.
But Nigerians wanted his head for just running.
It's a pity. It's the same way Sani Keita got one red card. Everybody wanted his head. Until today, we still don't have a standing for that can really properly shield a defense and is a hard man. So we can't always throw away the baby with the bathwater. Somebody makes a mistake, it doesn't mean we have to get rid of him from the national team. I mean, so if Song was in Nigeria, does that mean he shouldn't come home again after this rush of blood to the head he had? Or Asue Koto should remain in Brazil as well? We need to stop doing things like that.
All right. Always a pleasure to have you, Nnamdi Obanya, sports journalist.